Aurora is quickly gaining a reputation in the medical community of being the safest place in Colorado to suffer cardiac arrest. The citywide survival rate has more than doubled from fewer than 10 cardiac arrest saves from 2006 to 2008 to 24 saves in 2009 alone. So why such a big difference? Well, it's thanks to several things, events that make up the chain of survival.
Okay.
She's not breathing at all.
Breathing. Okay. How old is she?
She's 29.
29?
Yeah.
It's a phone call you hope you'll never have to make.
They have to call in. We have help already on the way, okay?
Okay,
Now,
thank you.
A phone call of sheer desperation.
Now she's not breathing. Now she's not doing anything again. Oh, God. Please, Adrian.
But thankfully, now more than ever in Aurora, calls that begin like this
911, where's your emergency?
have a chance at a happy, healthy ending. And the numbers are here to prove it.
24 times in 2009, we were able to resuscitate people. So these are people that are dead, and then they're discharged back home, and they're neurologically intact is the term that we use. It means their brains work. They can go back home and they can lead productive lives.
Now this success is all thanks to a chain of treatment that continues uninterrupted from the time it begins.
All of the links in the chain of survival are important.
And the first link in this chain is early recognition, and it usually begins with a desperate call for help.
Hi. My wife just made a bunch of weird noises, and I think she
What is
stopped
your
breathing.
address?
A panicked person trying to help someone in cardiac arrest.
A good way is to get their names. If you get their name and you call them by name, that calms them down. We'll tell them things like, I'm going to help you help them.
What is your son's name?
My son's name is Ryan.
At this point, the 911 operator walks the caller through CPR, a newer version you may not be familiar with.
90, 1, 2.
The compressions are more effective than the breaths, so that's what we tell them. Once they say, you know, we've done CPR before, I'm doing the breaths, we'll just tell them that, well, okay, I'm going to tell you to do 200 compressions. We don't even go into the breaths.
8, 9.
Here comes the
10.
paramedic.
Keep going.
Operators stay on the phone with the caller, continuing instructions until the paramedics arrive and take over.
Ryan, are they right next to you?
Right next to me now.
Okay, are they taking over?
Yep.
Okay, I'll let you go. Okay, Ryan, you did awesome.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
The next link in this chain begins here.
In Aurora, we respond with 4 firefighter paramedics on all of our fire trucks. We get there within 8 minutes of them placing the 911 call, which is important because the mantra inside of resuscitation is that time is brain. And so the faster we can do what we do, the better off the patient's going to be.
With that, a key element in the patient's chance of survival is this: resuscitation choreography.
We have now a feedback device that lets us measure the effectiveness and the quality of the CPR that we're performing, which we've never had before.
Press a little deeper.
With resuscitation choreography, all the individuals have a specific role, and with their defined roles, there's less likely to have interruption of chest compressions. And we believe that that will increase the survivability or survival rate of the cardiac arrest patients in the city.
With this new device and the resuscitation choreography, even the paramedics themselves have higher expectations.
Now we approach resuscitations and we don't hope that we're going to be able to help these people. It's an expectation. That's what it's created in us, the expectation that we can resuscitate these people and they can go back home.
And the highest expectation is to revive the patient before the brain is damaged, a great outcome that happens more often now. The final link in the chain of survival is the transfer from paramedic care to the hospital.
2, 3.
Here, as before, the key is continuing chest compressions.
Once a patient is transferred, we continue 2 minutes of uninterrupted compressions without checking a pulse, without looking at the monitor, without disconnecting anything. Once 2 minutes passes, we check for pulse, we look at the monitor. If there is a shockable rhythm, then we go ahead and shock and immediately resume 2 more uninterrupted minutes of compressions.
And with that last link, the chain is complete.
The most exciting parts of this story for us is that success is really dependent upon all of those different pieces inside of the system.
From the call to the choreography to the care in the hospital, compressions have proven to be the common link in this chain of survival. So far this year in 2010, already 4 lives have been saved. As we've just learned, chest compressions are a key component to saving lives. When it comes down to it, would you know how or be comfortable performing CPR? Here with me today is Kevin Waters, the EMS Bureau Manager for the Aurora Fire Department. Kevin, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So we hope that we'll never be in a position to have to know CPR, but it's better to be safe than sorry, right?
Yes, it is. And the exciting thing for us is that just by calling 911, recognizing that the patient's having an emergency and calling 911, even if the community is untrained in CPR, those dispatchers are going to be able to help them make a difference.
And talk about the importance of making sure everybody in your family of age knows how to perform CPR.
CPR has become a lot simpler than it has been in the past. Really, anyone can learn how to do CPR. We would really encourage anyone to take a CPR course. But if you're not able to take a CPR course, if you just recognize that your loved one's had an emergency and call 911, you're going to be able to help them.
So now there's a difference between the way CPR used to be taught and the way that it's taught now. Is that correct? And what are the differences?
Historically, we thought that it was really all about airway, and so we spent a lot of time doing rescue breathing for the patient, and as paramedics, we spent a lot of time putting tubes in the patient's lungs and breathing for them. And what we found is that really the big difference is in compressions. And so really that's what our emphasis is on now, is on doing quality continuous CPR compressions.
Which really is not as intimidating as the original CPR.
No, it's not at all.
Well, you did a demonstration for us earlier. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. This was strictly the compressions, the hand compressions, right?
Yes.
Okay, we'll take a look at that.
What I'm going to demonstrate is hands-only CPR that you can do even if you've never been trained in CPR. The most important thing that you do is call 911, and the dispatchers will be able to help you with this. The first thing you want to do is lay the patient on a solid surface, a hard, flat surface. So if they're on a couch or they're on a bed, you'll need to move them into the floor and make sure they're laying flat. The next thing you do is expose their chest, and then take the heel of your hand and put it right in the center of their chest, right on their chest bone. Then you want to keep your elbows locked, and then we're just going to push down hard and fast. You want to go down about 1.5 inches to 2 inches, and you want to go at about 100 times in a minute. And the way we remember that is we think of the song Staying Alive. You want to do that for 2 minutes, and you don't want to stop. So it'll look like this. The key to remember is that they have to be on a hard, flat surface. You need to keep your elbows locked so that you're pushing straight down. You're pushing straight down in the center of their chest, and that you go for about 2 minutes, hard and fast. It does take a lot out of you, so if there's anyone else that's there with you after 2 minutes, you can switch and you can have them take over compressions.
So much easier than the original way, which is the mouth-to-mouth and compressions, mouth-to-mouth and the compressions. What are some tips and things to keep in mind if someone finds themselves in a situation where they need to do that?
I think the most important thing to do is to stay calm. Remember that really you can make a huge difference. Call 911, recognize that they need help, and then start doing compressions with the help of the dispatcher. You're not going to hurt these people. A lot of people are afraid that they don't know what they're doing, and so they may do something wrong. You're not going to do anything wrong. Everything that you do is going to be a big benefit to the patient.
How do you know if you're doing it correctly? What are some signs that tell you you're doing it correctly, if there are any?
It's really simple. Call 911, lay them on a hard, flat surface, and follow the instructions that the dispatcher is giving you. And if you're doing those things, then you're doing it right.
All right. Well, thanks so much. We appreciate you sharing that with us. For more information and tips about CPR, here are a few websites to check out. You can go to the Aurora Fire Department site, which is found through the city website, auroragov.org. The Colorado CPR Association, which is cocprAssn.com. The American Heart Association, which is americanheart.org. And finally, a website that talks specifically about compression CPR, which is handsonlycpr.org. Jackie, I think a lot of us take for granted that we'll never be in a situation where we need to know CPR, but it's certainly better to be safe than sorry.
It sure is. And now it does seem a little less intimidating knowing that it's just compressions compared to the way we're all taught in the past. Emily, thanks so much.